Bill Klein, who is most known for his part on the hit TLC reality show The Little Couple, recently told viewers about a touching accomplishment. He took his son, Will Klein, to his first NFL game. In addition to being a memorable father-son encounter, the occasion was also a pivotal time in the life of a young child growing up in the spotlight of an unusual family journey. Bill has devoted a significant portion of his public life to promoting knowledge, acceptance, and perseverance. He stands 3 feet 6 inches tall because he has dystrophic dysplasia, a rare kind of dwarfism. Bill and his wife, Dr. Jen Arnold, a neonatologist and also a tiny person, have created a platform that combines activism, parenting, and daily family life with personal narratives. But this particular outing was more about happy, straightforward fatherhood than it was about public preaching. Bill was thrilled to introduce Will to the world of professional football in a number of interviews and social media posts. He wrote, "So excited," as the caption for a picture of him and Will outside NRG Stadium, both of them wearing Houston Texans attire. Will's first game in the NFL. All week long, he has been inquiring about it. I was eager to tell him about this. On a cool Sunday afternoon in late October, the Tennessee Titans and Houston Texans played their regular season game. With supporters wearing club colors, tailgating in the parking lots, and yelling team chants, the atmosphere at the stadium was electrifying. Attending a live NFL game is a treasured custom for many families, a rite of passage that unites generations through noise, excitement, and pride in the community. It was the same with the Kleins, albeit there were more layers of significance to the experience. Over the previous year, Will, who was 6 at the time, had become more interested in sports. Bill claims that backyard football activities in their suburban Houston house sparked the interest. Bill remembered, "We'd go out back, toss the ball around, and he'd act like a quarterback." He began to commit team statistics, player names, and jersey numbers to memory. In addition to being adorable, it was quite amazing. Watching games on TV with his parents, especially during the NFL season, stoked Will's curiosity even more. Bill, who has always loved football, expressed his excitement at his son's growing interest in the game. Attending a child's first live athletic event is frequently regarded as a crucial parenting experience. It's an opportunity to engage in a shared cultural experience, foster team loyalty, and make enduring memories. Bill decided to take Will to an NFL game for reasons other than amusement. "Connection is key," he stated. "It's about working together to accomplish something greater than ourselves. The loudness, the brightness of the lights, and the fact that everyone was just together are all things I recall from my very first football game. That's what I wanted for him." For the Klein family, the day started early. Will was excited and bouncing off the walls when he woke up before daylight, already wearing his Texans shirt. "Is it time yet?" he asked repeatedly. "Is it time yet?" Bill chuckled. He was prepared at 7 a.m., but I had to remind him that the game wasn't until 1 p.m. The family packed Will's favorite football-themed rucksack, water, snacks, and extra clothes for the evening chill in preparation for the trip. Despite being in favor of the father-son excursion, Dr. Jen Arnold chose to stay at home that day in order to concentrate on her medical duties and give Bill and Will some alone time. In a follow-up interview, Jen stated, "I think it's important for dads and sons to have these moments." Bill and Will share a unique camaraderie that goes beyond football. It's more than just the game. Will has to learn about crowds, excitement, patience, and belonging to a greater whole. To be honest, I was glad to give them that. There was a lot of talk on the way to the stadium. Will joined in, although with his own imaginative lyrics, as Bill played a selection of vintage NFL theme songs and team chants. From the rear seat, he exclaimed, "I love the Texans, I love the red and white, and I love to tackle with all my might." Bill looked at his son in the rear-view mirror and grinned. He remarked, "He has spirit." That's certain. When Will first arrived, the stadium's size seemed to temporarily overwhelm him. He muttered, "Whoa," as he gazed up at the imposing building. "It's enormous." Bill kept a firm but gentle grasp on Will's shoulder because he was accustomed to negotiating big public places as a small person. He clarified, "Large spaces can be noisy and crowded. But we're going to have a good time. We know where we're going, and we have our tickets. Just stay with me." It was an incredible sensory experience inside the stadium. It was a complete immersion into the spectacle of professional sports, complete with the clamor of the crowd, flashing jumbotrons, and the aroma of hot dogs and popcorn. As Will surveyed the field, the athletes warming up, and the sea of spectators waving team flags, his eyes grew wide. "Is that actual grass?" he inquired, gesturing at the field of play. Bill gave a nod. "Yes. The magic takes place there." They headed for their seats, which were in the lower bowl, close to the 30-yard line, close enough to watch the action well without being overpowering. Bill had given considerable thought to sight lines, ease of access, and proximity to exits while selecting the seats. He remarked, "I wanted him to feel at ease and watch the game. I didn't want us stranded in the middle of a section if he got too noisy or too crowded." The air became increasingly charged as kickoff drew near. The audience surged when the starting lineup was revealed, the cheerleaders led shouts, and the Texans marching band played on the field. Will sprang to his feet and joined the others in shouting and clapping. He shouted, "That's Stroud," when he saw quarterback C.J. Stroud sprint onto the field. Bill couldn't contain his pride. He told a fan nearby he knows his stuff, and the fan grinned in agreement. Both sides traded scores during the first half of the match, which was competitive. The Texans got off to a fast start by scoring a touchdown early after a turnover. Will leaped in his chair and gave his father a high five. "We are victorious," he exclaimed. Bill laughed and gave him a high five in return. "You're right, friend. That's what we do." There were also tense moments. The crowd might either cheer or moan in response to a field goal missed, a pass dropped, or a dubious referee call. During these times, Bill spoke to Will about patience, sportsmanship, and the fact that even the best teams experience failures. "Winning isn't the only goal," he stated. "It's about how you play, how you deal with the difficult situations, and how you persevere." Will, who was eating a hot dog, listened carefully and nodded. He remarked, "Like when I fall off my bike. I stand back up." Bill grinned. "Exactly. Exactly like that." The stadium's kids' football acknowledgement event during halftime was one of the afternoon's highlights. To be honored, a group of neighborhood children who participated in a flag football league were welcomed onto the field. As they rushed over the pitch and waved to the spectators, Will watched with excitement. He said, "I want to play." Bill faced him. "You can. We'll sign you up if you'd like." Will paused to think this through. Then he nodded, his eyes full of resolve. "Indeed. I'd like to be a quarterback." Bill chuckled. "Then you will be that." The Titans gathered momentum in the second half and eventually took the lead with a long touchdown pass. Will stayed involved despite the growing anxiety of the fans, enjoying every first down and applauding every defensive stop. Bill remarked, "They're not giving up. And we shouldn't either." The Texans launched a drive in the closing minutes, using a combination of passes and runs to move the ball down the field. Will stood up and yelled encouragement. "Texans, hurry up. Stroud, hurry up." The crowd exploded when the drive resulted in a field goal that knotted the score. Will wrapped his father in his arms. "We're not going to lose," he shouted. Bill made sure Will knew that disappointment was a part of sports, even though the Texans lost on a last-second field goal by the Titans after the game went into overtime. As they left the stadium, Bill remarked, "They played hard. We also enjoyed ourselves. That's what counts." Will didn't appear very agitated and was still full of energy. "It was fantastic," he remarked. "Even though we lost, it was still fantastic." Bill tossed his son's hair around. "That's the proper mindset." Will was sleeping in the back seat, his football jersey still on, his face smudged with nacho cheese, and the ride home was quieter. Bill gave him a gentle smile as he looked at him in the rear-view mirror. He later stated in a blog post, "Today was everything I hoped it would be. In no way due to the team, the score, or the game itself. However, I cherish it even more since I got to share it with someone I love." These kinds of moments hold great significance for Bill Klein. Bill, who has spent a significant portion of his life in the spotlight, first as a medical device executive, then as a reality TV star, and now as a father, has come to understand the importance of presence and sincerity. "People believe they know our lives because they see us on TV," he remarked. "However, we own the important things, the small things, the peaceful times, and the significant turning points. Additionally, I want Will to understand how much he means to me." Additionally, the experience brought to light more general themes of normalcy, inclusiveness, and parenting. The difficulties and rewards of parenting a child without dwarfism in a household where both parents are little have always been discussed candidly by Bill and Jen. They've handled difficult parenting situations with humor and honesty, from making their house accessible to answering queries about growth and heredity. In many respects, taking Will to an NFL game was a declaration of normalcy. It served as a reminder that, at their core, the Kleins are just another family, regardless of their disparities in prominence and public persona. They take pleasure in common interests, commemorate significant occasions, and make memories from ordinary encounters. "Extraordinary events are not necessary for us to feel special," Bill stated. "The simplest things are sometimes the most special." For over 10 years, viewers of The Little Couple have followed the Klein family's journey. Beginning in 2011, the show followed Bill and Jen's relationship, marriage, infertility issues, adoption of Will, and subsequent birth of their daughter Zoey, who also had skeletal dysplasia at birth. As time went on, the show's narrative shifted from being primarily medical to examining joy, resiliency, and family life more broadly. Fans who have come to view the Kleins as approachable and inspirational found resonance in this NFL outing, even though it was not videotaped for the show. Bill posted pictures from the game, and social media was inundated with comments. "This brightened my day," an admirer commented. "Parenting is all about witnessing Will's happiness and Bill's pride." Another person said, "I adore that they are engaging in typical father-son activities. It's very typical and lovely." Although Bill found the response to be heartwarming, the event itself was the true prize. He declared, "I don't do this for likes or comments. I do it for Will. I want him to know that he can be a part of anything, go anywhere, and accomplish anything as he grows older. And it's worth every second if a football game demonstrates it to him." Will kept discussing the game as the weeks went by. He asked when they could attend next one, sketched the stadium, and used his action figures to act out performances. Bill said they will, possibly even in the upcoming season. He declared, "We'll make it a tradition, like Christmas morning or Thanksgiving dinner." Going to one NFL game might seem like a minor inconvenience in the big picture. However, it was a significant turning point in the relationship between Bill Klein and his son Will. The day was full of love, learning, noise, and excitement. It served as a reminder that happiness frequently stems from shared moments rather than large gestures. These moments, when combined, make up a life well lived. In a recent podcast interview, Bill shared his thoughts on the day and talked openly about parenting and the value of making memories. He remarked, "I used to believe that being a good dad meant providing, protecting, and guiding. And those are significant things. However, I've discovered that being there is another aspect of being a good father. It entails being present for the tiny things, like the first football game, the first words, or the first steps. The things he will remember are those. They are the elements that mold him. And honestly, those are the things that shape me too," he said after pausing. Like every team, the Texans experienced ups and downs as the NFL season went on. For Will Klein, however, the experience of being there, of feeling the excitement, hearing the crowd, and sitting next to his dad, was more important than the result of any one game. He learned what it means to be a part of something greater. It served as a reminder to Bill that leaving a legacy involves more than just your accomplishments. It's found in the lessons you impart, the time you devote, and the memories you foster. It was more than just football when we took Will to his first NFL game. It was about making a connection. It has to do with love. It has to do with fatherhood. Bill commented simply, "Best day ever," as he shared one last picture from the day, which showed his and Will's hands linked together in the grandstand amid a sea of supporters. The hands were small and even smaller.